500 miles, mountains, coast, and some of the best roads in the country. This is the Wales 500. You don't have to do the Wales 500 in 2 days. You can take a week, you can take a fortnight if you really want. But what it's all about is finding some of the best roads in Wales, making a bit of your own route along the way, and enjoying a fantastic ride in a beautiful part of the country. The North Coast 500 is a famous route in Scotland that has become really popular, sometimes to its detriment. But one of the things I think that misses is it restricts you to a specific route. And if you're going to go and do the North Coast 500, it feels weird to go a long way and then cut corners. The Wales 500 isn't about that. It's about a rough route around Wales, but you get to choose. If you want to take a quicker route, if you want to cut a corner, if you want to take the tiny B road, if you want to take the single track road with the grass growing out of it, it's kind of up to you. So we've built a bit of a framework to show you a good lap round Wales with some of the best roads, and after that, it's up to you to ad lib and make it your own trip. To do this trip, we've got one of them, a big 4-cylinder Kawasaki touring bike. This is a masterpiece of touring technology. I don't think anybody does big smooth 4-cylinder engines quite like Kawasaki does. It's what they've done for years and years and years, and they've got pretty good at it. This is the new 1100 SX, and they've done that thing where manufacturers come up with a good bike, then listen to all of the complaints or feedback from customers on the existing model and try and add that into the new one. So with this new model, they've added a little bit of tech, but they've focused on more important stuff like more drivability, better torque, better engine response, and reducing vibration. I've got 500 miles to figure out if they've got that right or not, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. So here's how it's going to work. Rather than prescribe you a GPX route of you must go on this road from this place to this place, which kind of takes some of the fun out of touring for me, I've got a list of place names. We're going to chuck those names in the description below this video, and if you put them into whatever your navigation software is and draw lines between them, you will find some fantastic roads and have a brilliant trip around Wales. If you want to put more effort in, use the shorter route, use the curvy roads function if you have it. Have a look at a map, get one of those paper things, you know, that had all the squiggly lines that we used to have during the war. Yeah, get one of them. Look for the squiggly line roads that go over the contours and through the mountains. There's plenty of scope in there to add a few good roads. We'll drop some suggestions in as we go, but use that basic framework to build yourself a fantastic trip around Wales. And we're going to do it in 2 days and show you just how good it is. Our start point for this trip has been the Baffle Haus in Aberdyfi. You've got to start somewhere, and I thought, why not start somewhere with good food and loads of motorbikes in the car park? Massive win. We're going to kick off here, stop waffling, get riding, and we'll see you in 2 days' time. So our first stop on this ride is Llandegley, which give everyone who speaks Welsh a good laugh, the way I pronounce that, and then for all the English people out there that don't speak Welsh, Llandegley, we'll write it below. So this, we're actually not going up the border as such, we're cutting inland a bit because I know some great roads if we go inland a bit more. So we're sort of heading towards the town of Betws-y-Coed. There's a cool old bridge. If you're into that sort of thing, I quite like a big bridge, big old-fashioned bridge, so we're going to go and find that just south of Betws-y-Coed. And then wind our way up. This first sort of long stint really takes us up to Bala, or Lake Bala, which is quite a famous landmark in the centre of Wales. It's basically in the middle of a load of amazing roads, which is awesome. There's a little cafe there, a couple of cafes, and if you go there on a sunny weekend, I guarantee you'll find it absolutely rammed with happy people on motorbikes. It is always a popular spot. So that's our first little stint. Look at that view. Lovely little river. Gotta say that beer garden over there looks very tempting, but only been riding 15 minutes and it's only just gone 12. Can't quite justify a beer yet. A few more miles to go. Now the official route to take is to turn right there up towards Betws-y-Coed on that little stretch of 479, which is a nice road. However, just to start the example off of deliberately missing turnings and taking shortcuts, if you deliberately miss that turning, you can go a little bit further up here and turn right towards one of the reservoirs, and then there's a little reservoir road that winds its way through. That A road over there is actually a great road, but this route we're going to take is a little bit quieter and a little bit more fun. The road we are taking is this one towards Llangorse Reservoir. Which basically, if you just miss your junction and then take the next road on the map that looks good that you get suggested on the maps, that's actually a surprisingly effective way of finding new good roads, especially when you're looking for quieter ones. The best sign on the road, the wiggly worm sign, means leaning over corners coming up. Not a truck one. Look at that. It feels like it should be a footpath, not a bridge. Love it. Now, I'm a big advocate of riding all different types of bikes. I love it. I love the change. I love jumping from sports bikes to adventure bikes to supermotos to small engine bikes to big engine bikes. And don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything on any bike. You can do it a track day on an adventure bike. You can tour Europe on a sports bike. There's nothing to say you can't do whatever you want on the bike you've got. You can go off-road on a sports bike if you don't mind damaging it a bit. But every now and then I get on the right bike for the right job. And it really does make them shine. This Ninja 1100 SX is built for exactly this trip. The luggage, if you're an adventure bike person, you'll maybe get annoyed that the luggage is a styled shape, not a great big rectangular box that you can jam tons of stuff in. But you just pack a little bit less and pack smarter, and the luggage works. And if you compare it to a full-on sports bike, the luggage is fantastic. And the riding, I kind of like the fact that you have to muscle this around a bit. It's not that it doesn't steer, it's just that it's a big stable bike. So if you're just cruising, it's just a breeze to ride. And then because Chris being Chris, I've got myself on twisty, windy little back roads. This one's a bit big for my liking. It's really good fun to muscle it around instead of being on a sports bike where they just pop from corner to corner with no effort. I'm really enjoying having to wrangle this thing about and pull it into the corners and fight it back and forth a bit. I'm absolutely loving that feeling. Makes you feel like you're working hard for your ride rather than just riding a sports bike where most times on the road it's sort of looking at you and going, is that it? Is that as fast as we're going? Now, one of the things Kawasaki wanted to achieve with this bike was a little bit more mid-range, a little bit more drive out the corners than the older model, and it does that well. It doesn't hit off the turn off low RPM like a big twin does, but it's got such a smooth power delivery. It is buttery, so you've just got this glorious shove out of a corner, and then you've got the revs that you can hang on, ride it just on the engine braking and never touch the brakes if you want. It's a really good bike for that sort of thing. The other thing they looked to improve was the vibrations on the handlebars. I'm not going to say there's no vibrations at all. You definitely feel a buzz through the bars still. It's a big 1000cc 4-cylinder bike. I think you can't get away from that. However, I've been going for a good few hours now and doing quite a lot of high RPM riding around these twisty roads before shifting back up and cruising along. And I haven't got tingly fingers yet, so the buzz is there, but it's not debilitating and it's not spoiling the ride. So we're bombing along. We're going to make our way up to Bala in mid-Wales now, so I'm just picking a few roads off the map, following the main route a bit and enjoying it, and I think we're going to stop there for a bit of fuel and a cup of tea. We'll check in then. A mega little stop-off option here. This is Crossgates Cafe. It's a great central spot. You'll always see a few bikes there. A great central spot to stop for a top up of fuel and a snack before you head off into the roads, and you can go north, south, east or west from this roundabout and find yourself onto pretty amazing roads. Perfect if you want a good meeting point to catch up with a bunch of mates at before a day's riding. Got a bit of proper dramatic sky now, but we are coming over the last bit of mountain towards Bala now. This is a properly lovely area. This patch of Wales is fab because there's nothing here. It's fantastic. Big towns are few and far between. There's loads of quaint little villages, the odd village shop and pub from time to time, but there's a lot of nothing, and it is breathtaking. Look at that view.
There we have it, Bala. After a fair old while of there being absolutely nothing, there's a properly bustling little town with hotels, cafes, shops, beautiful big reservoir that's always full of motorbikes on a sunny day. Not the reservoir, obviously, the car park. It'd be silly to put them in the reservoir. I digress. Good little stop as well. If you fancy shortening the route a bit, you can stop here and do all the Snowdon stuff the following day. It's always a good option. But we're going to press on. We're going to grab some fuel and then press on up to Snowdon. And this is Betws-y-Coed. Betws-y-Coed, Betws-y-Coed. This is Betws-y-Coed. That's probably how it's said. This is Betws-y-Coed. Betws. It's raining here. I'm led to believe it doesn't always rain here, but I cannot promise that. It's now 5 o'clock, which would probably be an ideal time. Check into a hotel, have a little wander around the town, have a cold pint of something, and then a lovely meal, good night's sleep, and then attack Snowdon passes tomorrow in the better weather and the sun and the warmth, the fresh head and the full fry up inside you. We're not going to do that. We're going to do it tonight when we're tired and wet, and then still ride a load more miles because I'm foolish. And I've given myself a really short time scale to do this in, as usual. But if you're doing this for a holiday and you're riding along with Chris, it's 5 o'clock. Stop now. Go and get yourself a snack. This is Penny Pass. Again, on a bank holiday weekend in the sun, it will be busy up here for sure. So if you're looking for the quiet empty roads to buzz around on flat out, get back down to mid Wales. That's the zone where even on the busiest days elsewhere it will still be quiet. But if you catch it out of peak times up here, it's a fab road. A good challenging ride in the rain and mist like this. And best of all, there's no scenery to distract you today. See? The cloud has just lifted enough for us to see that lot. Whoa. We are rolling in now to Llanrug, or Llanrug, if you like, which is our northernmost point on our little Wales 500 jaunt. From here you can go further north. Obviously you can go up to Anglesey and do a lap of Anglesey. Good racetrack there, very good racetrack, well worth going to watch one of the No Limits or NG Road Racing or one of the other club races that go on up there. It's always something good to watch, and it's a beautiful place, especially when the weather's good. We wanted to get past Snowdon. That was my target for my Wales 500, so we've done that. We're north of Snowdon now, and by coming up via Llanrug you get to take a slightly different route back. So we're going to go back towards Beddgelert, or Beddgelert. So we're going to head towards Beddgelert, which will give us a different pass back down past Snowdon, rather than just ending up back down from Llanberis straight back down towards Betws. So that gives us a second choice of way around Snowdon, which would be cool. Watch out for the sheep. There's quite a few bits where it looks like you can see all the way through a set of bends or all the way down a straight, but there's actually a dip or a hidden hole or a hidden wiggle in the wall that you didn't see, so you have got to be sharp and keep your wits about you. But it is a fabulous place to ride a motorcycle. We are rolling into Beddgelert now. Another nice little stop. We're now going to head out west again towards the coast, and then sort of wiggle our way down coast side, heading towards sort of Barmouth eventually. And down this west coast of Wales there are some fabulous winding A roads that then pop out, give you a great view of the sea, and then pop back in again. Again, another section we covered on our 5 favourite roads in Wales. This is one of the more scenic ones. There's also, if you're into sketchy single track roads with jumps and gravel and all sorts of crazy stuff, especially if you're on an adventure bike, once you're south of Barmouth, you can get up over the tops of these hills, so make sure if you're on that sort of bike, you turn off and take some of the tiny single track roads across the tops of the hills, because they're fantastic and again offer views and a bit more isolation and a bit quieter than these big array roads. I've done over 300 miles today, done 270 since I filled up. I've got 20 more to go, and I did a load of extra miles this morning, and I'm feeling all right. I'm not fresh as a daisy. I won't lie. I've got some aches. I know I've been on a bike a long time, but I'm not slumped on the tank waiting to get off of it. I'm quite happy. Like, the only place I've really been feeling it is in my wrists, sort of this last half hour or so. I think where I've been going through a few 20 and 30 limits, I've just been slumping my weight forward on the bars. So that's bad posture on my behalf, but yeah, really impressed with the comfort on this Kawasaki. And the wind protection was very welcome in that horrible rainy yucky bit that we did earlier. Good comfy bike, can't wait to spend another whole day on it tomorrow. Just check that out. Mega road, big sea view, sun's come out. Look at that. This coast road can get a little frustrating at time to time when it seems like there's endless 30 limits and keep getting caught, but there's just little patches of it that make up for it, where you can muscle the bike side to side and really have a proper ding dong with the road.
Look at that. Heck of a view, that. It's like the calm before the storm. I always like this bit. Get up, have breakfast, and just take 5 minutes to go. It's really pretty here before becoming a blur on the horizon again and spending all day riding around flat out. We've got, I think, just over 200 miles to go today. We are currently half-ish way down the west coast of Wales in Aberdyfi, which is actually I actually really like it. It's a nice little, this place we're staying in is called the Penhelig Arms, but it's just got a really nice view. It's a little bit out of the town. The town's maybe a little bit kiss me quick hats. It's a nice seaside town, but it's definitely a seaside town. So it's not like super rural, located quietly somewhere on the hills. It's definitely a seaside town. But out here it's a bit quieter. Beautiful view over the estuary. Train line in the background, which I always find quite bizarre, but this whole bit of the west coast of Wales has got a train line running down it. Today we're going to head down to the southwest corner of Wales, a place called Stackpole Quay on the edge of Castlemartin Military Range, just because it's pretty. This south half of Wales is a little bit less pointy and angry and rocky, but you've got these lovely flowing hills, great roads, and yeah, better weather today. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, really looking forward to another day on that Ninja 1100. It's become a bike that I think is right at the top of my list of things to go touring on. I've ridden a lot of different sports touring bikes, and they have to strike a balance that suits you between being too toury or too sporty, and that thing hits the spot quite nicely. I really like it. It's sporty enough that yesterday's roads I was having an absolute blast on, and toury enough that this morning I'm not dreading getting back on the thing after a huge day in the saddle yesterday. So that's pretty much the sweet spot for me in this ride. I'm keen to go and put some more miles in. So enough waffle. Finish my cup of tea, let's get on the road.
It's time to leave. We've got, first stop is out a place called Devil's Bridge, but we got to go out to Machynlleth, over the Forge Road, which is one of our 5 favourite roads in Wales. Absolutely epic bit of tarmac. And then wind our way back to the coast, handrail the coast down to the southwest, then head back home. Easy. The other reason I like coming and staying in Aberdyfi is for this next strip of road. It's the A493 heading from Aberdyfi back inland to Machynlleth. Mac, just call it Mac, you'll know what you mean. And it's, so you've got the estuary on the right there, and this stretch of road is got mega views and some really good corners and tarmac, which is the 2 things I look for in a road. 3 things. It's usually reasonably quiet. Oh, sun is shining. Nice cool fresh morning sea breeze. Ah, flipping paradise. So we're now in Machynlleth, which is actually a pretty cool little town. They have a cool market in here on one day of the week. I'm a terrible tourism guide, but they do have a market. I'm sure it's lovely. Not really into markets. I like motorbikes. But there's always a good few bars, good takeaways, co-op. Another good little place to stay. Ah, look, markets are Wednesdays. There you go. You can buy things if that's what you want to do. Fill your panniers with potatoes. And they've got a golden bike. But yeah, that's Mac. From here, we are heading out onto one of the little mountain passes. Oh, you can't just buy potatoes, you can buy rugs and chairs. An army surplus. Why are we missing all these absolute treasures? Alright, here we are on the start of the Forge Road proper. A properly dramatic bit of tarmac. I'm not going to go on about it too much, we covered it in our 5 best roads in Wales feature, but look at it. A proper tarmac rally stage. One of my favourite features about the Ninja 1100 SX is on the dash here there's a lean angle indicator and a recorded maximum lean angle. The only purpose of this is for bragging to your mates. And if you want to know the cheat code to make yourself look like a hero, you get off the bike and walk it round in a circle, leaning it over as far as you can, and you can achieve Marc Marquez levels of lean angle and look like an absolute hero. Don't tell anyone the secret. "64 degrees. Hand me my MotoGP contract." Never miss the opportunity to ride past this bit. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. And of course, there's the Sweetland Rally Complex, which is very good for riding adventure bikes and watching rally cars. And adventure bikes are awesome, and rally cars are awesome. Devil's Bridge. It's a weird shaped bridge that's got bridgey stuff going on it. I've covered that for you now. We can move on. There's also a good hotel with a good restaurant here, so if you need to stop for a breather, stop for some food and fuel, well, body fuel anyway, that's a good place to stop. And you can go and look at some weird bridges all stacked on top of each other if bridges are your thing. We're now past Devil's Bridge, heading out towards Aberystwyth. Absolutely fab bit of windy B road along there. The route I'm taking, which is the sort of main obvious route now, is out to the coast at Aberystwyth. Stop for an ice cream in Aberystwyth if you want, and then turn left and head south. And I'm going to handrail the coast most of the way down. There are quite a lot of other good options. If you want to get some more skinny back road fun, if you head to Tregaron, and you can basically cut across the corner left from where I am now, south from where I am now, and you get like a lot more fun, quiet, skinny back roads all over that way, but it takes a little while longer. But I fancy seeing the sea. The sun is shining. I want to see the seaside and I want to see the sea, so we're going to bomb down the coast to Aberaeron, which is a lovely little seaside town. I said the close road could be trafficky. I'm not wrong. It's got stuck in a big old tail back there for some roadworks, but I did say it was scenic as well. And just look at that. When it is good, it is very, very good, Wales. When it's bad, it's pretty grim, but on a day like today, what a place. That is gorgeous. This is Aberystwyth we're coming to now. Whoa. And down here in the southwest of Wales, the main routes are generally pretty busy A roads. It's kind of like that from Aberystwyth down. If you're on those main coastal A roads there, beautiful but generally pretty busy. However, if you come inland 10 miles or so, suddenly there's some proper old school scratchers lanes, rough, bumpy, twisty, loads of crests, not great vision but much more fun than sitting in a row of traffic all the way down the southwest coast of Wales. So yeah, get off the main road, dive into these little B roads and have a scratch around, dodging gravel patches and keeping an eye out for tractors. And massive lorries coming the other way, just to wake you up.
Best bit about taking the weird little B roads and back roads is finding places like this. I always prefer to find a tiny backcountry petrol garage and shop to stop at over a big town. It's a bit harder work, but when you luck out, this one's absolutely brilliant. It's got everything you could ever imagine to buy inside and really good sandwiches. And we just sat here watching tractors drive past for 20 minutes. Spot on.
So we are heading down towards Castle Martin Military Range and Stackpole Quay now, which is the southernmost and westernmostest point of our trip. There's a nice little place on the southwest corner of Wales, so that our route is a proper lap of Wales. But it's also a place close to our hearts because Castle Martin Military Range is a venue we hire on occasion for our bigger shoots. So probably our most notable one was the Street Triple stunty shoot with all the tanks in it. That was filmed down here at Castle Martin. It's a place we absolutely love to use whenever we get the opportunity. And it's, yeah, on the right day it is fantastic, and we've done some really cool filming down here. So a place close to Bike World's heart and worth the trip down when the weather's good.
Look, rocks and stuff. This is Stackpole Quay, the very southern westy-mostest point of our little trip around Wales. It's a beautiful little bay, great for having a sit and a skim of some stones, a paddle of your feet if you're so inclined, and a rock climb as well, good for rock climbing. Fascinating bit of geology. I'm not going to do a geology lecture because I don't know enough about it, but cool rocks making squiggly shapes because of stuff and tectonic-y things. There you go. That's what you get in tectonic, that's the limit. But a beautiful spot to come down here. I mentioned as well, it's weather dependent. When it's like this, it is fantastic. When it turns brutal, when it turns wet and miserable, it's not the nicest place in Wales to be. In a warm cafe 10 miles up the road is a better place. But absolutely stunning, well worth the trip down. From here, we're heading back north and east, working our way back across towards Baffle Haus. No time to waste, let's go.
Stackpole Quay complete. Time to head back north up towards Brechfa, then Llandovery, good cafes there, and then Black Mountain Pass, because why wouldn't you? And then head over the mountains back to Aberdyfi. Now we've found a proper Chris lane. Sometimes you just have to dive into a random side road and hope for the best. Especially if it's got grass growing out the middle of it, always better. Doesn't count as off-roading either, so I can't get in trouble. Basically home. We're on the Black Mountain Road, a proper Bike World haunt. Do not miss this one, it is epic. Ah, the Black Mountain Road, what a stunner. Such a good view. And one of my favourite bits of the view is the view of the average speed cameras laying on the floor. So final stretch now. We've done our little detour over the Black Mountain. It's a fully legendary riding route. From here, the obvious route is back up through Aberaeron. There's a good pub, the Ancient Britain there. Good campsite, well worth a stop. And there's also Llanrug, which is local coffee shop. We've done some Bike World stuff there in the past. Definitely, definitely pop in and say hi to those guys. You'll probably see me in there eating cake quite often. I like cake. And then from there up Talybont-on-Usk and over the mountains by Aberdyfi back home, or back to Baffle Haus and then back home.
So there we have it. That was the Wales 500 or 550 or Chris's lap of Wales, whatever you want to call it. That was it. It was a mega couple of days riding and filming. So much so that we were too tired to actually film a roundup at the end of it. We both just flopped off the bikes, found a beer and a curry, and that was all she wrote for the rest of that day. I definitely think you could do this trip in a day. We didn't leave particularly early in the mornings. We were pretty lazy about breakfasting and faffing around with cameras and stuff. You could do it in a day, but my gosh, that would be a heck of a day to do. You would be exhausted. 2 days is doable, but a lot of mileage in a short amount of time. Think if you want to have time to get off the bike, have a nice lunch, go for a walk up some of those beautiful mountain passes, go and have a look at some of the tourist attractions around the way, I reckon 5 days, 4 or 5 days would be absolutely spot on. And that would give you an epic biking holiday, some beautiful spots for some beautiful riding and off-bike activities, followed by amazing roads every single day. One thing I found riding around the route is there's all the highlights of Wales. There's the bits we all know, the stuff we covered off in our 5 favourite roads in Wales. You know, you've got the Brecon Beacons, you've got the Black Mountain near Aberdyfi, you've got that bit through the middle past Lake Vyrnwy where it's kind of empty and wilderness, Snowdon, the west coast. But actually in between all those bits really surprised us. The more time we spent on the road, you'd ride a bit of boring A road for a bit and then all of a sudden you were back on this incredible road. And we just scratched the surface. Remember what I said at the beginning, the whole principle of this idea of a Wales 500 wasn't to draw a line around Wales and say, ride on that. It was to join some dots around Wales, but join the dots in your own way. Wiggle off here, add that road there. Go, oh look, there's a mountain pass up there, I want to ride up that. And zigzag in and out, while generally heading in the right direction. That makes for much more of an adventure, and that way you can tailor it to how you want to ride. So you can do big fast A roads, little sketchy B roads, add a few byways and green lanes if you've got your OS maps with you. You can really change each day and each hour of the day to suit how much ground you want to cover. That for me is a much better way of doing an adventure. I chose mainly to try and stick on the smaller A roads and B roads, purely because I find riding on big fast A roads, while it's great fun and you get a good flow and cover loads of ground, on modern bikes and in the modern road environment, you spend a lot of time looking in your mirror and looking at your speedo, because it's so easy to be doing 3-digit speeds on those roads, and you can only do that so long before you lose your license. So I preferred to get myself on those tighter technical roads, the sketchy little B roads, and then you're riding just on vision, tarmac, and what you can do with your bike. And that is a way more fulfilling way to ride. It's way more exhausting, but I really enjoyed that side of riding, which is why we spent as much time as we did on that stuff. Which brings me nicely to that thing there. I'm gonna have a little confession time. The Ninja 1100 was not on my list of bikes I wanted to ride. It's not on my wall as a poster bike. It's not something that I was longing to go out on. I don't think many people get excited about this bike. I didn't, and I think we're wrong, because actually for covering ground, but being fun to ride, coping with everything from big fast A roads to tiny roads with grass in the middle of it, it was, I don't want to say the perfect road bike because there's no such thing, but it was an incredible bit of kit. I had a few preconceptions. One was that it was going to be a big bulky tourer. That's what it kind of looks like, that's what I thought it would be. But I probably did 8,462 U-turns throughout the course of this trip, back and forth filming, and never had a bobble, never felt like the weight was too much. It really surprised me in that side. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot harder work than that, and it wasn't. Then the touring side of it, that engine. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Kawasaki knows how to do a big 1000+ cc 4. It was so smooth, and that by the end of the day really helps. When you're doing miles and miles and miles and miles and miles, and you're trying to make lots of progress, so you're trying to keep passing cars, passing long lines of traffic on the busier bits, just having that effortless, smooth power to, it made life so easy. This was such an easy companion to be on. It was smooth, it was easy to get on and ride, it didn't do anything unexpected, and my bum, wrists, ankles were all in good shape at the end of it. For me, that's a real improvement.
Definitely comfy, this Kawasaki. Definitely comfy.
So thanks, I hope you've enjoyed this adventure. I definitely love it. If you want to see us do more of these, let us know. I think Wales 500 as a holiday biking trip is something that is very accessible to people if you live in most of the UK. If you live in Scotland, obviously, you can do the North Coast 500. And if you live in Ireland, you have a million good roads over there. You're spoiled. But if you want to come to Wales and ride it, it's accessible, and use this framework, and it will find you some of the best roads but give you a bit of a chance to explore along the way. We're going to leave at the bottom of the video, we're going to leave a list of all the place names that we use as our way markers on this, so you can chuck those into Google Maps, Apple Maps, Banana Maps, whatever type of maps you want to use those, either go straight roads, wiggly roads, fast route, shortest route. Let it pick a trip for you and come and have a massive, massive adventure in Wales. If you do, make sure you send us some photos tagged to Bike World, because we want to see your trips and want to see if you find as many good roads as we did. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go and have a rest.